10 Premier League talking points as Man City hit back and Leeds out of drop zone. The Premier League is nearing its conclusion, and happily there is still plenty to play for, with the title, top 4 and final relegation place undecided. After Liverpool's dramatic win over Chelsea on penalties in the FA Cup final on Saturday, attention turned to the Premier League on Sunday. The biggest winners were Tottenham, who beat Burnley 1-0 to move ahead of Arsenal into fourth, and Leeds, who grabbed a late equaliser in a 1-1 draw against Brighton to move out of the relegation zone. Manchester City had a real scare, coming from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 with West Ham. Riyad Mahrez's late missed penalty meant it could have been better, but their title fate is still in their hands. Elsewhere there were good wins for Brentford and Leicester, who will both finish the season comfortably in mid-table. Here are Mirror Football's talking points from Sunday's matches. Lucas Fabianski's brilliant penalty save from Mahrez in the 86th minute gave Man City a bittersweet end to their game at the London Stadium. On the one hand, it could have been much worse. 2 goals from Jarrod Bowen after ropey defending had them 2-0 down after 45 minutes, while Michail Antonio had a 1-on-1 chance with Ederson too. On the other, it could have been better. If Mahrez had scored, they would have gone 6 points clear of Liverpool and needed just a point from their final game to claim the league title. As it is, Pep Guardiola's side will need to beat Aston Villa at the Etihad Stadium on Sunday to confirm a 4th title in the last 5 years. "I can assure you something, that we will give them all of our lives to do it," Guardiola said. Liverpool fans were cheering Bowen's efforts in the first half. The West Ham forward twice got in behind City's backline thanks to slack defending from Alexander Zinchenko and twice took the chances with confident left-footed finishes. He now has 18 goals and 11 assists in 50 appearances this season. That outstanding tally has now included 10 strikes at home in the Premier League, a feat only Tony Cottee, 1994-95, John Hartson, 1997-98, and Paolo Di Canio, 1999-00, have achieved before for West Ham. His form means a place in Gareth Southgate's World Cup squad is surely on the cards. Tottenham got the better of Burnley in a battle of nerves in North London on Sunday. Both teams needed a win, but for completely different reasons, with Spurs going for 4th place and Burnley bidding to avoid the drop. Harry Kane's penalty settled it after a handball by Ashley Barnes, who later hit the post as the Clarets pushed for an equaliser. Antonio Conte's side are now 2 points ahead of Arsenal, who they beat 3-0 last week. The Gunners travel to Newcastle on Monday night knowing they have to beat Eddie Howe's side to reclaim their Champions League place. Defeat was a real sickener for Burnley, who were plunged back into 18th place following Leeds' draw against Brighton. The decision to sack Sean Dyche initially appeared an inspired one, with the Clarets taking 10 points from Michael Jackson's first 4 games in charge as caretaker boss, but they have now lost 2 games on the bounce. Burnley have 34 points, 1 fewer than Leeds and 2 less than Everton, but they do have a game in hand on the former. They travel to Aston Villa on Thursday, before hosting Newcastle on Sunday. Leeds travel to Brentford. Have your say. What was the standout result for you over the weekend? Comment below. Leeds have failed to win any of their last 5 Premier League matches. They had players sent off in the defeats against Arsenal and Chelsea and appeared to be going in one direction only. Jesse Marsch has taken 12 points from a possible 33 since taking over from Marcelo Bielsa. As things stand, they are safe with 1 game to go. Pascal Struij's injury time equaliser against Brighton was absolutely vital for Marsch and his players, who believe they can avoid the drop now. "It is a fight," he said. "Nothing comes easy for us. We seem to dig holes and then have to find a way to dig out. We are ready. We are going to invest everything we have in this last match and see if we can do this." Watford have already been relegated, and yet it somehow keeps getting worse for Roy Hodgson's side. They were thrashed 5-1 by Leicester at home on Sunday, with the Foxes' front line running riot. The Hornets have now conceded 46 goals at Vicarage Road in the Premier League this season, which, unsurprisingly, is the most at home by any side in the competition, and the most by any top-flight side overall since 1960-61. They will need a rethink, as well as a rebuild, if they are to come back up. As poor as Watford's defence was on Sunday and has been throughout the season, Leicester's attack looked back to its best. Jamie Vardy and Harvey Barnes both scored twice, while James Maddison netted and picked up 2 assists. The Premier League season has been a bit of a slog at times for the Foxes, due in part to their Europa Conference League campaign, but they are finishing strongly with successive wins. Maddison now has 16 goals and 10 assists this season, making him the first Leicester player to reach 10 in each category in a season since Riyad Mahrez in 2017-18. Brentford's 3-2 win over Everton at Goodison Park had lots of talking points. The Toffees' brittle defense, the ill discipline of the hosts and the disgusting racist abuse aimed at the families of the travelling team. It is therefore reiterating an obvious but perhaps overlooked point. Brentford have been exceptional on their first campaign in the Premier League. Thomas Frank's side are now 11th, with 46 points from 37 games. They have 13 wins, the same as established top-flight sides Leicester and Aston Villa, and have shown remarkable determination to produce results like the one on Merseyside on Sunday. Norwich will say farewell to the Premier League once again when they host Tottenham at Carrow Road on Sunday. They will do so with only one target in mind: overtaking Watford to finish in 19th instead of 20th place. Their relegation has been down to a number of factors. One of them is a weak attack, which has managed to score just 23 goals in 37 games. That is 9 fewer than the next worst attack of Burnley and is down to there being no support for striker Teemu Pukki. The Finnish striker has bagged a respectable 11, the same as Ollie Watkins, Bukayo Saka and Mason Mount, but has simply not been backed up. Josh Sargent has 2 goals in 26 appearances, both of which came in the same game. Remarkably, that makes him the team's second top scorer in the league, with no other player managing more than 1 goal. Aston Villa may be mid-table and with relatively little to play for themselves, but their final 2 games of the season mean a lot for others, with fixtures against Burnley and Manchester City set to define what happens at the top and the bottom of the Premier League. Steven Gerrard's side drew 1-1 with Crystal Palace on Sunday, with Watkins, Felipe Coutinho and Danny Ings starting as the front 3. Coutinho has now signed for Villa permanently following an initial loan from Barcelona, and the lineup shows how the side has evolved throughout the campaign.